Simone. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you on the channel, and not long now, and just over a week away till the new album is out. How are you feeling? How's everyone at the camp at Epica feeling about it?
Yeah, we're excited. We're gearing up for the release. We are finalizing our latest video to be released soon. So, yeah, we've been kind of living towards this moment for quite a while already, and we're very excited.
Has it gotten any easier over the years? Because this is album number nine, I believe, at this point of time. Does it get easier preparing for the album release parties? I'm assuming back when it all first started, there must have been butterflies, a little bit of nerves. Is it just business now, or do you still get, the butterflies and a little bit of nervous energy before an album comes out?
I would say healthy excitement and pride, I guess, because with each album you pour so much of yourself into it,
Mm.
blood, sweat, and tears. And you've been sitting on this golden egg for, how that's how you feel it. It's like a Christmas present that you want to give to everybody, but you have to be very patient. So with each album, it's exactly the same because you're just so excited to share it with the world, and you got to be very patient. And
Yeah.
that's not always my strong suit.
That's a good thing because if you're still getting excited about new releases and everything, it means you're still doing it for the right reason, the love and the passion of the music. So that's a good thing. I guess maybe when the excitement dies one day, that's when you go, oh, maybe I should reassess kind of what I'm doing here. But it's good to see that album number nine, the excitement is still there. But what was kind of your favorite? Let's go back to the recording. How long have you been recording this one for? Like, how long's it been ready to go?
Well, the album, we finished it, I think, in August last year. I did my vocal recordings in June, so counting back, I think maybe we started already in April with the recordings. And before that, we had writing sessions, studio sessions, working on the songs. So, yeah, I think the final mix was probably ready end of August.
Yep.
And then we went to the Symphonic Synergy adventure. So, yeah, we could already play two songs from the album, Aspiral and Arcana, during those shows. So we could give people already a little preview. That was a lovely surprise. But yeah, the album's been done for quite a while, and then it's just, letting it go. And every once in a while, I just listen to it. And we recently, we were together in a studio. We had a whole listen through the album, which was really nice because it was the first time that we were actually in the same room listening to the album start to finish. And yeah, I can sense that everybody is excited and that we're just super impatient and counting down the days.
Well, only about 8 days to go. So you're nearly there. Just hold out just that little bit
Yeah.
longer. But the music videos, the reception to the songs has been fantastic. Have you been kind of paying attention to social media at all? Because a lot of people are really loving what you've done this time around, myself included. I think it's fantastic. And I've had a quick listen of the album myself, and I think a lot of people are going to be very happy with what's coming. I don't think people even know what's yet to come,
Mhm.
which is good, which is good. You want that.
Yeah, I check, of course, YouTube and Instagram, and the songs that we have released so far are what I would say single candidates, that the shorter ones that are easier to digest. But there's a whole more coming, and people have no idea. So I'm very excited to see once the album actually is out, what people's favorite songs are gonna be. And with this album, we tried to mix in the old Epica a little bit with the newer, refined, more mature, more modern side to Epica. So I think it's a nice balance of many, yeah, how do you say, characteristics that
Hmm.
define Epica.
And speaking of that, because you mentioned touching like the old sound of Epica, you revisit A New Age Dawns on this one. What made you guys kind of come back to that at this point in your career?
Well, it's our ninth album, and Mark was stuck at New Age Dawn's number six, so he thought this album would be perfect to kind of finalize this saga. And yeah, it's because it's the ninth album. Now we have part seven, eight, nine on this album, so it feels like a great conclusion. And yeah, nine is also kind of a special number because it's the last single digit before we hit the two digits. So it all just tied in really nicely. And yeah.
Was it hard to close the book on that chapter, or was it kind of refreshing that you've kind of closed the loop? The story's got a beginning and the story now has an end. Because there's so many authors, we could even mention Game of Thrones, where things haven't been finished, and there's always that fear of something may never get finished. So it is kind of nice to have closure at the end of the day. But was it hard to close it off?
For speaking about myself, not really, because I didn't write the lyrics. It's
Mm.
Mark's cup of tea to dive into the triple trilogies, I would say. I don't know how you would call it, if it's like a nine-piece uh, saga, but yeah, I think Mark always had something with a number three, and it's always like, it's basically three trilogies adding up to nine on a ninth album. So he loves full circle moments, and I think for this album, since the biggest message in a way, also what Aspiral stands for is renewal, it's
Mm.
rebirth, it's awareness, it's reaching a higher level of consciousness, and that's what a new age dance kind of embodies as well. So it just, everything ties in together really well.
Yeah. And speaking of reflecting this, is that the big kind of takeaway for yourself from this album? Was there a lot of self reflection when it came to writing the lyrics and putting this album together, or was that just a general theme that you looked at and it just kind of carried over naturally into all the songs?
Yeah, it's kind of a big red line going through all the Epica lyrics from the early days up
Mm.
until now, because both Mark and I are quite spiritual. I loved to, back in high school, I love philosophy, so I love to think about the bigger things in life. And being in a band for such a long time, you live fast and hard, and you learn a lot of things about life. You see a lot of things, and we kind of try to encapsulate that in the music and in the lyrics as well. So it's kind of like a timestamp of where we are in our lives. And yeah, it's like a diary, it's therapy, it's all in one.
I was going to say, yeah, and you've already kind of hit the nail on the head, therapeutic at the end of the day, because when you can get
Yeah.
there and put all this out, it really, truly is. But let's go into a bit more about getting these songs out there live. I know you've already played two of them live. Is there much included in the set list moving forward, or you kind of haven't gotten that far yet?
Well, we are going to rehearse the whole album soon,
Mm-hmm.
and we have kind of a set list in mind that we want to do for the upcoming shows. We're going to the US beginning of May, then we go to Mexico, festivals, Latin American tour. So we're gonna try and feel and see what feels good, and from there on, we will make a nice mixture out of the old and the new Epica, and of course the classics that everybody wants to hear. Because the set list needs to have a nice flow, and it needs the fan favorites, and some new material, of course, because we will be promoting a spiral.
And that's a good way of putting a set list together. I always say a set list is like a meal. You got to try some new things every now and then. Maybe people will like this, maybe people, but sometimes you need that comfort food. Sometimes you need the old ones that everyone likes, because it's just kind of comforting at the same time as well. But touring life now that you've been in this band for so long and you started at such a young age, like how's it evolved? How have you kind of changed as a person, being on the road, being a musician as a career? Like if you were to go back and like send a message to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself out there?
I would say go with the flow, and continue listening to your intuition. And that's a little bit what I've been doing ever since I decided to quit high school and pursue a career in music,
Mm,
not knowing where it would lead me, but I had a good feeling about it. And of course, nothing ever comes easy. You have to struggle, you have to grow, you have to fall on your face and get back up again. But yeah, I think the passion for music just always carried me through, and that
mm.
I love to sing, and that for me it is in a way therapy, a way to make my soul fly, to express everything, and like to vent through music. And I really need it. And if I haven't sung in a while, I really miss it. It's a big part of me. And I grew up in the metal scene. I grew up in music, always surrounded by a lot of guys, but yeah, that's what I know, and here I am. I'm still enjoying it.
That's beautiful. That's what I like to hear. And actually, I'm going to go back because I actually spoke to Taya not long ago about this. She said during COVID, it was very hard not being able to get out there and sing and really miss performing. And it gave her almost a newfound lease on life when it came to performing, came to singing. Did you have that same experience? Was it really difficult not to be out there performing live or getting to you sing? Because your style of singing is not exactly the most quiet thing in the world. It's loud, it's projecting. So if you're doing it in your
Mhm.
home, the next door neighbors after a long time might get a little bit annoyed. But how was it during that period? Was it relief to get back on stage after all that time?
Yeah, we had the bad luck that we were just at the end of recording
Mm.
Omega, and then COVID hit, and it was a complete new situation. Well, you could literally say situation for the whole art sector, and we had no idea what was going to happen. And we had this big tour planned that we had to postpone twice. We had to become very creative how to honor the new album by doing a stream. But that gave us the great opportunity to experiment
Mm.
with how we want to present Apica visually. And we learned a lot from that. And that was amazing that we got to do that. And that was great for us in the future from going forward after, when the doors opened again and we could enter the stage. I always thought, I was touring so much. I have a son, I wanted to be home more. But then I felt being home all the time, I did feel that something vital was missing and that it's important that it's in balance. And that was
Mm.
completely destroyed through because of COVID. And the singing, yeah, it's of course I could still work out, but even the gyms were closed, so I did that at home. But being on stage is a little bit a great combination of kind of like a workout and singing. So it's for me all in one, and that was suddenly gone. Of course, great to recharge your batteries, but it came with the insecurity. What's the future gonna bring? And that
Mm.
was very scary for us. But we survived the pandemic, all of us, I think, had COVID once or even twice. But yeah, we're happy that we got through without too many damage.
Yeah, yeah, no, and we're all happy for it as well. And what was that first show back? Was it like over the top emotional? Was it difficult? Because, like you said, you can work out at home, but working out at home compared to working out at the gym, I feel is two very, very different things. Was
Yes.
it hard at all, or did it just feel natural and everything come to life when you step back out on that stage?
Well, I think we played a festival and it was a little weird. I thought, can I still do this? In a way you've been doing it for so long, it becomes second nature. But it was a little bit like stepping on a bike. I don't ride my bike as much as I would like to, but once you get on it, yeah, it's in you, it's in your DNA, and you just have to not let that fear of can I still do it? Do I have it in me? Um, take over, just listen to the music and then the rest
Yeah.
will happen naturally.
No, beautiful, beautiful. And let's step it back a bit because you said you kind of realized how much you guys wanted to look at Epica visually. What walk us through that a little bit more because you do have such fantastic artworks and everything to the point that Spiral is almost toned down a little bit compared to some of your previous artwork, but in a good way because it kind of stands out. It's bold. What was the inspiration behind this to go that route?
But yeah, we worked with a new graphic designer who is basically, I would say, modern aged Michelangelo. He can do many things. He's not just graphic designer and a sculptor as well. And since the album title track, Aspiral, which we didn't know back then would be the album title, is the song itself is inspired by sculpture by a Polish sculptor, Sukalski,
Mm.
with Rob, with whom Rob and I have kind of a special connection because we went to we went to the, how do you say, the people, the guardians of the art from Zukalski in LA, and we had a personal look at many of his beautiful pieces. And the graphic designer, who is also a sculptor, happened to also be a fan of Zukalski. So we had a really great click of what we wanted to do visually. He connected with the lyrics, the message, And I also worked with him on Vermilion. So I had kind of a test run with
Yeah.
him and was very happy. And he already said, since you guys are searching for renewal, become, um, go along with the current times. He told us to skip our name, the band, and the title, and just really let the art speak for itself. So
Mm.
we thought, okay, since we are in this new age of renewal, let's try it. And it's a beautiful sun disk that is in the center. And of course, we write a lot about darkness and light, and the sun is a great symbol for light and life and positivity. And the hands, you see 9 hands, which stands for the ninth album, that we are kind of reaching for the light, reaching for the beauty of life, but you can't always get to the good stuff without struggle, without getting torn or hurt, or it's not a straight line to happiness, so to speak, and you need to really work for it. And that's a little bit what it embodies.
And that's beautiful too, because without struggle as well, without struggle, there's no success. If you can't just walk through life or anything in your life and expect everything to go easy. I think character and art is really built on struggle and pain and searching and finding yourself. And I'm assuming as well, and of course, you would have found that as writing over the years and growing up in a band almost, like you joined so
Mhm.
young, growing up and writing, and like you said, it's almost like a diary. You can go back. Do you ever go back and listen to the old Epica and put yourself back in your shoes at that point in time in your life, or is that something that's it's in the past? It's in the past.
No, every once in a while I like to listen to the older records and just kind of I'm amazed, or you forget how much you have achieved in life already because everything goes so fast, and you have very few moments to be still and reflect. But that's kind of a routine that I do before each new album cycle, that I do listen to the older Epica work and see, how far we've come, what we can work on, what I would like Epica to return in Epica. And yeah, of course, lots of memories come up, and it sometimes feels as if I lived already a couple of lifetimes with this career. Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing as well, because it is an interesting career and it is not the easiest career in the world. You do so much travel. You just mentioned you're going over to America and Mexico, and it's kind of wonderful how big this symphonic metal has grown over the years. I think back in the day, it felt very much it's a European style that kind of stays in Europe, and now bands are traveling the world. We ourselves in Australia just had Within Temptation down here for the first time. Is an Australian tour something you're kind of hoping to get down here in the near future, maybe on album number 9, or maybe number 10? Or save it for the double digits.
Yeah, I would love to go back to Australia. We went there twice,
Yep.
and it's a little bit of pain that it's so far away, but it's a beautiful country with lots of exotic bugs, which luckily so far I haven't made an encounter with, only the friendly kangaroos and koalas. But yeah, it was great being in Australia. It's just a matter of logistics, planning it in the right time, finding great flight connections, and yeah, adjusting to the time difference, because we also went to New Zealand, and I remember being absolutely yeah, broken by the jet lag. So yeah, it's a matter of time. We are currently setting up our whole touring schedule for the upcoming 2 years, leading up to our 25th anniversary. So we're working on it, keeping my fingers crossed.
No, it's crazy to think 25 years. That's like over half your life you spent in this
Yes.
band as well. It's just mind blowing at the end of the day when you think. If I know this is a silly question, it's probably one I shouldn't ask, but I'm always curious. If you weren't doing music, what would you have pursued? If the music wasn't the passion you went down, which direction do you think you might have gone?
I would have combined still a job working with either babies, being a nurse,
Mm.
or still like on the side doing something in arts, because that's always where my passion lied. As a teenager and back in high school, I already chose the art direction in high school. Loved languages, art history, and yeah, always loved babies. So when I was 14, I actually volunteered and worked at the delivery station in a hospital and thought that that was maybe the direction I was going, but then music called.
And sometimes life takes you on a journey you weren't expecting. And wow, what a journey it's been. I can't believe you, like you said, coming up to 25 years. That's just a testament. Album number 9 out next week as well. But Simone, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here this evening. Is there anything you want to say to the fans watching this, and especially some of the Aussies that might be looking forward to Epica finally coming back down for number 3?
Yeah, we're very excited that we have our ninth album almost ready to go out to everybody, and just hope that everybody will connect with it, find something in there that they like, and hopefully we come down under really soon.
Fingers crossed, I'll cross them for you as well. But Simone, thank you. The album is out next Friday. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ta. Bye.